What is that? What the hell is that? What is a zapper husk? What? Hey guys, what's going on? Roundedtiktak here, and we got another video for you today. We are checking out what you guys voted for. Over 100 votes were polled yesterday on the other video, and this is what you guys decided that you want to see. So I'll bring it to you guys. The BLASTATRON Mini, the brand new SMG slash pistol that is coming out right from the llamas. You can grab it. Now, what this thing does, it shoots a energy cell kind of thing, and by the way, no more bacon for the energy cells. Really cool. It shoots a bunch of energy cells. It does decent damage, has a decent fire rate, but we're gonna break it down a little further than that. This gun actually shines in a few instances and does something that's completely unique to it in the game. So we're gonna talk about everything, and we're also going to discuss the 6th perk for the gun and which one you should be looking for. With all of that out of the way, let's get into this. This is the BLASTATRON Mini. So let's take a look at the BLASTATRON Mini. Let's take a look at the rules first, and just a little background on the gun. There's nothing in the game that comes close to this playstyle. There's 3 other guns that come to mind. Number 1 is the Viper, the Thrasher, but both of those are get so power creep because they're from the original game that they're not really a contest for anything that really comes into the game that's new. The only thing that comes close is the Rattata. The Rattata is actually very similar, but the BLASTATRON Mini does beat it out in almost every single aspect, especially in range, but we're going to talk about that in just a second. The way I have mine rolled is energy, of course, for the first one, crit damage for the second one, because we're going to do a double crit damage build. This is just where you have to put it. Magazine size, you can do reload speed if you want to, but the way we're going to roll the gun, at least the best results I had, the larger magazine size is part of that. Crit rating for the fort slot, because you need some crit chance to actually use crit damage, and then lastly, one more crit damage. Now let's talk about the 6th perk. It seems that on all of these new futuristic weapons, you have a choice of 3. Each shot fire grants 1.8 critical rating for 1 second and stacks up to 15 times. If you stop shooting for 1 second, you lose the full buff but can gain it again. With a fire rate of 6.3, stacking this up to 15 is not difficult at all. The other 2 perks are creates an AoE ring, and the shatter one that creates like a dispersion of AoE damage. Now, out of those 2, go for the ring. If you're really unlucky and you can't get this roll, because in my opinion this is the best roll that you can get, I would say go for the ring. Now, the ring, as you'll see in the video, really does not hit that hard. I thought it was hitting harder during just regular gameplay, but when I broke it down in a full party, it only hit for 19,000, which is nothing. That won't even kill a small husk. The one thing about this gun that differs specifically for the Rattata, and in fact makes the Wraith one of the best weapons in the game, is the range. This is the only pistol that I can think of, especially a fully automatic or even like a semi-automatic pistol, that has a range over 5,000 or 4,000. That is assault rifle territory of the range. And with that, we're going to take a look at the accuracy next, because it's pretty damn accurate. The Wraith is so good because in this game, you technically, in prime examples, you technically want to kill everything from as far away as possible, and especially in higher level missions, if you're using, say, the Rattata with, I believe the range is about 2.5 or like 2,500, if you're within that range, you are within the range of getting killed. So having a range on this gun and how accurate it is definitely helps it play more like an AR, which is funny because the sniper rifle feels more like an AR too. So now let's break into some builds you might want to try, because I tried a bunch of them. But first, let's take a look at the accuracy. Alright guys, so we're checking out the accuracy here from 4 tiles away. We have Geek, my buddy Geek behind us, and he's going to shoot this block for 4 tiles away. Just hold down the trigger and shoot 2 clips, and we're going to see exactly how accurate it is. And to be fair, from 4 tiles away on a pistol, it's pretty accurate. It's not bad. Let's check it from 3 tiles away, and let's see how well he does here. much more accurate. I mean, almost every single shot is landing inside that block. But the fact that you can shoot at 4 tiles away and get full damage is pretty nuts. So now we're gonna check 2 tiles away, and let's just see how much more accurate this thing gets. There we go. There we go. Not missing one shot, 100% accuracy. Pretty nuts. But granted, you will not use this gun from very far away. Like you wouldn't really use this gun from very far away, but the fact that you can is pretty cool, man. All right, so as you guys like, I'm going to show you a multitude of builds. These weapons happen to be above average. All of them, at least most of them. I still haven't broken down or really gotten a feel for the AR yet, but most of them are pretty above average, with some shining in certain spots. So first we're going to, because I know you guys, we're going to talk about how good is it on average. So we have a build like this. It has in a pinch and hip shot just for a little bit of bonus damage, but basically what I'm trying to say is you can play anything you want. So I put a bunch of bear perks in here. We have in a pinch, overbearing, bear stare, berserker, and hip shot. Plasma arc, which if you guys don't know, gives you a 20% chance to zap enemies for 116% damage. We're going to cover this Outlander probably next, or the assault rifle next, but I just want to talk to you about how good the weapon works at a general purpose. So this is the loadout we're using. Nothing really, shows off the gun's ability to do damage, but how good is it just in a plain build on everyday characters? As you can see in the video, the pistol does just fine. Now, the question is would you use this over any other weapon in the game? And the answer is not really. At least if you're not running a specialized build for this weapon itself, there are better weapons, because if you're using a generalized weapon, why not use something that hits harder, doing more DPS? But you can see here in the video, it has no problem taking down a smasher boss. It has no problem killing anything, blasters, takers, regular husks, and husky husks. Nothing is actually an issue to kill. It does decent damage no matter what you're doing, and like I said, it's actually a very good general purpose gun, surprisingly so. The weapon hits pretty hard, or at least hard enough to where it's acceptable to use in any situation. With this build, in a full party, you're looking anywhere between 372,000 damage to 588,000 damage per second, which is kind of crazy for a gun that's a pistol that usually aren't as good as they should be. The double crit damage definitely helps this hero keep up with a lot of damage and some of the bigger, badder guns. The second loadout we're going to look at, we're going to talk a little bit more about it because it's a little more specialized for this pistol in general. I like trying Rex with every gun in the game, and since this has a somewhat of a slower fire rate, it really fits his playstyle nicely. And because it has the range of an assault rifle, it really helps out with those longer engagements. Saurian Might, of course, as you know, every 1 second adds 9% current health to damage on next ranged weapon hit. We have Blast from the Past because we're trying to get as high as health as we can get. In a full party, you're looking at about 1.2 million health. Saurian Hide and Saurian Focus are the 2 perks we're going to bring just to activate Blast from the Past. Going coconuts is something we're going to take here because, again, we want to keep our health up to the maximum threshold to get the most damage we can from Saurian Might. And lastly, we're going to bring Make It Count and Startup. This is where the build starts to define the weapon, or the weapon defining the build. Startup we're bringing because you have 35 bullets in the gun, means at least 10 of those bullets are going to hit for an extra 25% extra damage. Make It Count because the weapon is double crit damage anyway, we're trying to add on some extra bonus damage. The gun is very bursty as is because the crit rating is so high that you do end up getting a lot of those crits. Now, the funny thing about this is that this build didn't do nearly as well as I thought it was going to. It didn't do bad by any means, but the final build we're going to talk about puts this thing in the dirt and throws soil on top of it. It's insane, the difference in damage. Almost 100,000 damage difference per like second. It's kind of crazy. But I mean, the build is good. If you like playing this hero or soldiers in general, there are a couple other ones you can check out. Feel free to try Ramirez, Ghost Ramirez. I forgot her name off the top of my head. Skull Ranger Ramirez. Feel free to try her. She's really good with a weapon like this with a bit of a slower fire rate. You'll add about a 30% extra damage increase here with this hero if you use her. In this clip, you see me fighting a mini-boss smasher with the tank modifier, so the damage numbers are a bit skewed. We do hit pretty hard, pretty fast, and do a decent amount of damage, but it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. And I have very similar clips with Beetlejuice, who's the third loadout we're about to talk about, that, like I said, does so much better, it's kind of mind-blowing. But let's get into the final build right now. There's nothing wrong with Rex. Feel free to use him if you like the hero, but there might be better heroes or characters you may want to try. All right, and this is Jess, the last hero, the last build we're going to go over. Anything else you guys want to try, feel free to experiment. I'm just going to let you know this works really, really well. Over 1 million damage per second in actual real life scenario in a full party. I'll show you that clip now. You can see me hitting this guy for about 220,000 damage, and at 6 shots per second, you can do the math. We're at about 1,080,000 damage a second, which is enough to kill a smasher at level 100 in that 1 second span. The build we're going to be looking at is Make It Count. Jess has this perk, increases pistol critical hit damage by 225%, and we all know how good crit is in this game. Preemptive Strike, this is something I brought to just test out, but you might want to change this out. Beetlejuice is an Outlander, so it is a different playstyle. It's not like playing a soldier. You have Teddy, you have the ground pound, you have phase shift, you're in and out. It's actually a lot of fun to play. You might want to think about Phase Blaster. Phase Blaster just adds a bit of an AoE blast to it, and if you have the projectile 6th perk instead of the crit rating one, the ring or the explosion, you might want to think about bringing Phase Blaster to add some AoE to your hero, because that is one area that she suffers. She does not have a shock tower. But the build actually looks like this. Saurian Might, which adds 3% weapon damage, current health, giving you about 33,000 damage per bullet every other second, which is pretty cool. It adds a decent amount of damage to the entire build. Blaze of Glory increases pistol damage by 35% after a phase shift for 4 seconds. You can basically empty the clip in 4 seconds, so you almost get it for the entire thing. You might be about a second shy. Hip Shot, of course, gives us a base 17% damage. This, once again, is here because the magazine has 35 bullets. 10 of those are going to be an extra 25% base damage, plus you get scaling per each bullet, so it does add up to a decent amount. And then lastly, we have In a Pinch here. Chromium Ramirez is coming back, so you guys can finally test her out for yourself and see why I like her so much, but you don't have to bring this. You can change it up for maybe Make It Rain or something along those lines, or if you want a little bit of utility in your build or a stronger Teddy, anything like that. Alright guys, there you go, the full breakdown. I gave you the roles, a couple of characters you might want to try it out, what you can expect from the weapon, and why it's so unique because of that range. It actually surprised me on how well it actually did. The damage is kind of insane. It really, really is, especially if you plan on playing it with Beetlejuice. But just like the sniper rifle, the gun is versatile on any single hero you choose to use it on. So if you're looking for a new weapon, or if you're new to the game and happen to get this, feel free to level it up. You will not be disappointed. The decent range on this weapon makes it not niche at all and makes it a great overall use any kind at any time kind of weapon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, I make videos like this, full weapon breakdowns and trap tunnel guides about 5 times a week. We would love to have you as part of the pack. If you want to check out the stream, it's at twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. And if you're looking for a way to support the channel, well, you can always use my creator code at OOTikTak00. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Which do you want to see? Tiktak out.